How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Something to Talk About, where I finally get to talk about a Royce. I'm pretty freaking excited about that, actually. so, before we get into it, I really have to say, welcome to Something to Talk About. My name is Taco, and I'm here to talk about a Song of Ice and Fire characters, and I finally get to talk about a Royce. Which Royce? Robar Royce. That's right. He's one of them. he's a Royce. I can't talk about Bronze Yan because he's too much in the show. Maybe I'll cover a what's the difference between the show and the book for Bronze Yan. And I can't discuss Waymar Royce because he's technically a POV. He's the first ever POV. So I narrowed it down, talking about Robar. yeah. So yeah, if you guys don't know what's going on, you can hit pause and read it. If you do know what's going on, you don't need to do that. You done? All right, cool. Welcome back. So let's just get into it. I almost did a Philip DeFranco. Let's just jump into it before we start. All right. Our first story today. All right. So Robar the Red. Robar Royce, also known as Robar the Red, is a knight from House Royce. He is the second son of Jan Royce, also known Bronze Jan Royce, Lord of Runestone. Sir Robar is comely in a rough hewn way. He has pale eyes. What's that mean? He's hot for, a little roughed up. He's a little roughed up, but he's still cute. Robar wears silver plated, what was this, filigree in bronze. All right, cool. With inscribed runes, those like those worn by his kin. The Royces love their runes. The ancient runes are said to protect House Royce from harm. See, that's why they like them. But yeah, though Robar is a good tourney warrior and skilled swordsman, Catelyn Stark thinks of Robar and his company he keeps as young, foolish, because they see war as a game. He's a knight of summer, and we'll get to that. But absolutely, let me clean my glasses. All right. But yeah, Robar's the knight of summer. He's one of them. Decent enough guy. Seems like he's a good enough tourney knight. I love his armor. And yeah, so let's talk about House Royce. Let's try that again. There we go. House Royce. House Royce of Runestone is an old and powerful noble house of the Val. Sworn to House Aaron. Their seat is Castle Runestone, located on the coast of the narrow sea of Goldtown. There is also a cadet branch accompanying the non-hereditary seat of the Gates of the Moon, located in a path that leads to the Eyrie. Yeah, so there's the Gates of the Moon, and like who's ever in charge of the Eyrie, the Lord of the Eyrie or the Lady of the Eyrie, just puts whoever he most sees fit to be there. And yeah, a cadet branch of House Royce is there. Nestor Royce, I believe. I don't have that written. That's off the dome. The Royces of Runestone blazon their arms with black iron studs on bronze, embroidered with runes because they love runes. And their motto is, "We remember. We remember." No one's going to get that reference. All right. Second son. Robar's father is Lord Jan Royce, called Bronze Jan. Bronze Jan is a proud, formidable man with a booming voice. I have a booming voice. I'm not a proud, formidable man, though, but my voice is. But the noble lord can also be solemn and quiet. Andar Royce is a knight from House Royce and the eldest son and heir to Jan Royce. The third, so Robar is the second, so we're skipping him. The third and youngest son of Jan Royce is Waymar. He became a ranger of the Night's Watch. He got prologued in a prologue. Is that a verb? Getting prologued? Well, he got prologued, so it must be a verb. So I just kind of wanted to discuss what's going on with his family. So his dad's really, really, really kind of up there in the Vale when it comes to like high lords. His son is his heir, or Andar, the first son's the heir. So Robar kind of needed a place in the world, and that's what we're here to discuss. And Waymar also needed a place in the world, so he took the black and then got got killed. Spoilers for the first chapter. Death of a king. Robar attends the Hands tourney in King's Landing, where his father Royce, with his father Bronze and his elder brother Andar. Robar defeats Luthor Brune and is defeated in turn by Sir Loras Tyrell. So the funny thing about Luthor Brune, and I didn't plan this, they just kind of like stuck together because they, I'm doing Lothar Brune for the next vid. So this is coming out in the beginning of the week. That's at the end of the week. I didn't realize how much the story's intertwined when I first put it together, like just planned it. And then when I started writing it, I'm like, Luthor, I'm working on him next. So, yeah. So it's kind of funny. You got kind of like a dude from the Vale who's down in the Westerlands and Crownlands, and then he's a guy from the Crownlands who's up in the Vale. Luthor is. So it kind of worked out. All right. When King Robert was hunting in the Kingswood with others, including his father Bronze, Robar's father, not Robert's, he left Ned Stark in charge. Riverland lords visited when Riverland lords visited and claimed the mountain is burning their lands. And when Ned Stark decides to send a party to bring Sir Clegane to justice, he sends Robar to the Kingswood to inform Robert and Jan. After Robert dies from being gored by a boar, boar on the floor, the Royces are among the nobles who King Joffrey insists must do homage to him being named traitors. So, yeah, there's like what all did I say? So he's hanging out in King's Landing. Bronze goes hunting with Robert. A lot of people go hunting. It's a huge group in the books, right? Not like in the show where there's just like a couple. And when a bunch of Riverland lords show up and they're like, hey, the mountain's killing all our stuff. He's burning everything. Ned's like, cool. Barrick and you go do that. And Robar, you want to go tell Robert? And Robar's like, yeah, sure. My dad's there too, so I'll go tell him. That's my impression of Robar, I guess. Well, I'm Robar Royce, second son, eh? So, yeah. And then after all that, King Joffrey is like, okay, I'm king, and a few people need to personally come and tell me I'm king. And the Royces are definitely one of them. So, yeah. So he made the Royce. So what does Robar do next? Well, he joins a different king, the Rainbow Guard. Although he is the younger brother, Renly claims the Iron Throne over his brother Stannis the Manus. As second son, Robar must take his own name. He must make his own name. So, looking to find his own glory, he decides to support Renly Baratheon's claim to the Iron Throne. Along with the North and the Iron Islands rebelling, this kicks off the War of the Five Kings. Renly forms his own King's Guard known as the Rainbow Guard. Renly appoints him, so Robar, to his Rainbow Guard as Robar the Red, because they all get colors, and gives him a suit of blood red armor and a rainbow cloak. That's kind of super cool. Loras Tyrell is the Lord Commander. Robar is the red. Bryce Caron is the orange. Emin Coyd the yellow. Goyard. That's a ridiculous name. Guyard Morgan's the green. Brienne of Tarth is the blue. And Parman Crane is the purple. So, yeah. Renly then marches towards King's Landing with the strength of Highgarden, along with most of the Stormlands and most of Highgarden. Not all Highgarden joins. When Catelyn Stark attends a feast near Bitterbridge, Lord Bryce Caron, a fellow member of the Rainbow Guard, as Bryce the Orange, goads Robar into juggling daggers. That's pretty cool, I guess. Hey, man, juggle some daggers. No. Do it. All right. Robar Royce, juggling daggers. So, yeah. So he's second son. He can't rule Runestone, right? But he still comes from a really powerful house. His name's still really important. He's got to do something so people are like, oh, Robar, he's famous and a cool guy. Because it's all about glory, right, for him. So that's why he joins Renly, who isn't backed by the Vale. He's backed by High Garden and most of the Stormlands. So yeah. That's why, we'll get into why he joined, but that's what he's claiming, because he needs to get the glory for being the second son. So death of another king. Wow, they're just dying like flies. On the eve of battle at Storm's End between brothers Renly and Stannis Baratheon, Robar escorts Catelyn from Renly's camp to a nearby sept and back. The quiet Robar discusses the upcoming battle with the loud Sir Wendell Manderly. I love the Manderleys. I covered Willis Manderly, not Wendell, but I love the Manderleys. As Brienne and Catelyn talk with Renly in his tent, Stannis' shadow baby, spoilers, kills Renly. Seconds after the murder of Renly, Robar and Aemon Coy burst into the tent with two men at arms and find Renly's dead body in the arms of fellow Rainbow Guard, Brienne of Tarth. They both think that Brienne the Blue has killed Renly, and Aemon the Yellow and others attack her. Catelyn, who has seen the murder, is able to convince a frightened Robar that Brienne is innocent. The young knight tells Catelyn to take Brienne away, and he holds the attackers at bay so they can run off. So Robar is kind of important in that little, because he's actually how they got away. And she's like, no, a shadow baby did it. Are you kidding me? And she's like, Robar, why would I be lying? All right, fine, go, hurry up. So, how does he get repaid for that? The Lord Commander. This is easily one of my favorite. This Joshua Carlos, is that how you say it? This picture of Robar from Fantasy Flight Games is one of my favorite pieces of art for A Song of Ice and Fire ever. I don't know, something about it. It looks so cool. I love this picture of Robar. When Loras Tyrell, the Lord Commander of the Rainbow Guard, finds Renly dead, he goes into a rage. Loras was likely Renly's lover. I say likely. It's, it's like 99% sure, right? I mean, we just have never seen them straight up like in the books, but it's like an open secret. So I said likely just to, like, as an asterisk, but we're all pretty sure they're lovers. And in his heat break, I can't spell. In his heartbreak, he kills Robar and Aemon Coy in a red rage for their failure to protect the king. Whoa, Loras just murdered Robar Royce and Aemon Coy. With Renly dead, his cause died with him. The Tyrells join the Lannisters just in time to join the Battle of the Blackwater. Loras joins Joffrey's Kingsguard much later. He joins Joffrey's Kingsguard. So much later, Loras sadly recalls that he killed Robar in his rage. He regrets his actions after Sir Jaime Lannister tells him of Brienne's innocence. There we go, guys. That's the whole story of Robar. Don't worry, we got more stuff to cover, but that's his story. I got theories and stuff afterwards. But yeah, he's not alive for too long. Just into Clash of Kings, towards the middle of Clash of Kings. But that conversation he has with Catelyn makes that chapter really interesting. I kind of glossed over it, but he's a pretty cool, interesting character, and I like the idea of this second son trying to find glory. And, he's Robar the Red. It's a great nickname. All right. There once was a hero named Robar the Red. All right. What's his deal? What's the deal with Robar? Most forums I could find. So I go online. I try to find any forums or anything that's discussing, seeing if there's any theories that I can credit to these guys or, other things. So most forums online just question why he was in the Rainbow Guard, right? So I found a couple. This doesn't strike me as a mystery. He wanted glory and adventure, and he was a Knight of Summer. Plus, I'm sure he thought Renly had a good shot at winning, making him the Kingsguard of all 7 kingdoms. Not a bad gig. Yeah, so a lot of people are like, why did Robar join? Well, we know why. And these weren't really big forums, so that's why I didn't say who did it. It was just a little question. But But yeah, I think the main thing is he wanted it. It all falls into that Night of Summer thing, right? Is that he just wants glory. That war is just so people remember your name, and he just is looking for a way to get that glory. So he joins the closest Kingsguard he can. And you know what? If Renly wins, he's got a pretty good gig. He's part of the main Kingsguard and King's Landing then, right? I think that's all the reason he really needed. The other question that I kept seeing pop up was why didn't Loras face any repercussions for killing Robar and Coy? And that's actually a good question. I could see the Royces wanting him dead for doing it, but the Tyrells are powerful and allied with the Lannisters. So who would bring him to justice? Question mark. Plus, Robar was sworn to a rebel king during the war. I just don't think anyone but the Royces care. No, seriously, like if the Royces wrote a letter to the king, either Joffrey or Tommen, like, hey, Loras killed my son, they'd be like, yeah, he was part of Renly's forces. What do you want? You know, or they'd be like, so what? You think we're gonna toss a member of a Kingsguard and son of the Lord of Highgarden into a dungeon because your son died? I don't think there's much of a mystery there. That's like, well, like, how did he get away with it? I think it's pretty clear how he got away with it. Loras is really powerful, or at least his family is, and he was working for Renly. Of course, Loras was also working for Renly, but he then flipped sides like right after, right? If Loras died during that fight, you know, the Tyrells wouldn't be able to get repercussions. They were backing Renly, but they flipped, right? So I don't know. I think that's really how he got away with it. But yeah. So those are the two questions that I saw pop up on a couple forums. But yeah. What do you guys think? And what'd you think of Robar? That's it. That's all I got. Robar the Red. So yeah. That's all I got. Talk to you guys later, and let's journey to Whiterun from old Rorikstead. Peace.